else's time. Some might call it a twist of fate, a lucky throw with the dice. All I know is we took the chance and landed in paradise. Goodbye, goodbye blues, got no use for you. Goodbye, goodbye blues, kicking off our shoes, taking them off and hanging them up and trying on something new. So hello, sunshine. Goodbye blues, goodbye, goodbye blues. Goodbye, goodbye blues. Goodbye, goodbye blues. Goodbye.
Tippy-Tap 41.
I got some goodbye blues.
I was like going so high with my little jingle there, and you've got Goodbye Blues?
That's what we opened with. It's a great song. Great theme song to a shitty show.
We thought that died off in the 70s with blaxploitation movies, but here we are.
No, 80s had a lot of great theme songs that told you about the show. That's
Okay,
another
that's on
dying
me then.
art. Another
Yeah.
dying art.
Yeah, that's on me then. I thought that died.
The shows
in the
even have
70s.
intros anymore. A lot of them don't even have intros. They just go right into the fucking show.
And then just like epic things
Where's
happening.
the next tossed salad and scrambled eggs?
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because we did not even think of the context. We were literally sitting down last weekend when we cut the amazing that no one will shut up about.
People are, they're still talking about
The
it.
Murder, She Wrote episode. I can't tell you how many people have mailed me letters about how right we are
The
about
whispers
Jessica.
just came out of those letters.
So thank you, Abrak, to cluing us in.
That was the whisper that came out of that letter you just opened.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a loud whisper. It's not...
Well,
anyways.
people got to hear the
But
audience.
I watched Murder, She Wrote clean. Then I read Aubrey's notes and realized, oh my God, there's so much happening beneath the surface. Next thing you know, we're revealing it to the thousands and thousands of our listeners.
Literally tens of people listen to this show.
And and they all decided they needed to write us immediately about how many episodes they've seen, and they realized, this
It was
is
that
not
important. They had to put a stamp on it.
they put, it's like Beyonce said, if you like it and you love it, put a stamp on it. And they put a stamp on it.
Right. They said, I have to pay for this. I
They-
can't just send them a message on Twitter.
Right, no.
At G&G Theater.
That's free. But
Yeah,
no, they decided
no.
to mail us a letter.
Yeah. And with inflation, that's not an easy thing to ask of people.
Somehow Murray, after doing 2 episodes last week and doing a Ginty episode this week, as you will hear on Wednesday, we are coming back for more Ginty hate.
This episode is the blooming onion to the sirloin you're going to get Wednesday. What I'm saying is it's going to give you diarrhea.
Yeah. You're gonna have 3 entrees of or 3 courses of diarrhea.
Yeah, I mean, you've spoken and you love it when we hate stuff. We see the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm still bumfuzzled, gobsmacked that Statham's mechanic is destroying Charles Bronson's mechanic, which we love, that we just can't tell enough people to go see and watch.
Right.
But you don't know. You just want the hate. You want negativity.
I mean, we don't need to get into the details, but we know from news and recent events, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah. All people want is the hate. I hear about a good movie coming out, and no one talks about it. Everybody's just like, do you see this new Chip and Dale? They put an acorn up Chip's asshole. I hate this movie. Disney's wrong. That's all they want to talk about.
Somebody had an acorn up their ass?
Chip from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Are they promoting homosexual lifestyle through Chip and Dale?
I don't know what they're promoting.
Are they 6 feet tall? I mean, I guess a chipmunk can't be 6 feet tall. How are they Chippendales?
Murray. That's
What?
beautiful.
I'm not a Disney person, so I don't know about this nonsense.
Well, you probably played their NES game. It was very good. The original Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers for NES was very good. And maybe...
That's what I hear.
Maybe we're going to resurrect the old act before we even had a podcast where you beat a game and send me blurry pics from your camera phone.
After my flip phone. After you get your Battletoads tattoo, we'll do that. Ginty.
What?
A blight on society. Garbage human being. I human being? No.
Yeah, I was going to say human being is a real fucking gift.
While doing our hate search this week for Robert Ginty, we learned that he had a appropriately short-lived show on in 1984 called Hawaiian Heat.
Murray.
We know that's the third kind of heat. He was in the first, dry heat.
Yes.
Second, incestual heat.
Yes.
The third, Hawaiian heat.
I got because I also did some Ginty research.
Okay.
Because I had to figure out what we were watching again, and I had to figure out who was in the episode and all that. And I happened to come across an old Robert Ginty show from the 70s. He had a character in a show, and his character's name was Griff Tantrum. And I've never...
That's the greatest wrestling heel name for you. Griff Tantrum, where you throw a tantrum.
Wow. I've never been so disappointed in all of my life.
Yeah, you legally changed your name. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got a driver's license with your new name.
And I got my neck tattoo. Griff on one side, Tantrum on the other. And so that was new to you as well.
Wait. You I thought you said you hated it. I thought you were changing your name.
Did. I hated it, but then I needed to own it as my own to take it away from Ginty.
You heard it here first. Call him Griff Tantrum from now on.
We're going to learn a lot about tattoo culture in this episode as well.
You will.
This is our teaser moment. We learn about tattoo culture. We learn about how men and women are.
We learn about what defines true love.
Yes. Oh, we absolutely do. We learn that good couples argue with each other.
If you don't hate somebody the first time you meet them, you're never going to love them.
Right. We learned that in grade school.
Well, we've learned this from movies and TV for centuries.
And that
literally centuries.
Right.
That true love always starts with true hate.
And bad guys have bald horseshoe hairs.
They used to. They used to be allowed to have that.
And now,
where have all the male pattern baldness villains gone?
They've been replaced by the Harvey R. Bardines.
Harvey R. Bardines?
Yeah, you know Harvey R. Bardine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the Bond villain in the one movie.
Oh.
That's the kind of people. Beautiful villains now. We need beautiful villains. What's her name? The Olsen girl, Katie Olsen.
Sure.
Whatever. She played the Red Witch, Scarlet Witch, in the recent. Another beautiful villain. We can't destroy beautiful villains because people idolize them. Loki, can't kill him. Everyone idolizes him. We can't have ugly villains anymore. Why can't we have ugly villains anymore?
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
We have this TV show, we have an ugly hero.
We have an ugly as shit hero. It's like looking into the puckering butthole of your existence.
I think Nietzsche said that. Careful when staring into the quivering butthole, or the quivering butthole will stare into you.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, we read. You know, we're well read.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're talking about what? Hawaiian heat?
Hawaiian heat.
The third hottest heat.
The third hottest. After incestual, it's Hawaiian.
Yeah.
It lasted, including the pilot, it lasted 11 episodes.
And
half of them are horrible VHS rip on YouTube.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of appreciate that there's some people.
Some nut job who taped this shit.
Yeah. I mean,
almost 40 years ago.
It might have been our guest on Wednesday, Phil, because he did admit that he is a gintologist or something.
Yeah. Gintologist.
Gintologist, yeah. And, of course, he goes to the Church of Gintology.
Yeah. And so the show, they do a good job with that. Of course, that great song, Goodbye Blues.
You heard it already.
The intro, they give you everything you need to know about the show. And what you don't, do your own research because I'm not looking into it. All I can gather from this show is Gint, who plays Mac Riley, and his partner Andy, naive, young, sweet boy Andy.
Yeah.
They're tough, this Chicago beat cops.
Right.
Something happens. Go watch the pilot. We're not. It was 90 minutes.
Yes.
We would have done the pilot if it was an hour, but we don't do 90 minutes again.
No.
In fact, the only reason we did this coming Wednesday's movie because it was 83 minutes.
Is this true?
We told Phil, make it under 90 or we're not doing it.
And he found us an 80-minute movie,
83.
and we were like, fucking Christ.
And it felt like, 2 hours, but it was only 83.
Right.
So the show, they wind up in Hawaii somehow because of 80s reasons.
Right.
And it's a action comedy show. It's a lighthearted action
right.
show.
Buddy cop, action comedy.
Which when I think of comedy, Ginty. Get me Ginty. Laugh Riot.
I never heard a guy read a joke like Robert Ginty. This man is on point. He's the sharpest joke teller of all time. I can't believe how good he is at jokes. Is that, you call that a schmear on that bagel? I haven't seen a schmear like that since...
Hey, where's my pickle on my hot dog? I'm from Chicago and I sell a gun from Jersey. Hey-oh. What a piece of shit. This guy can't even fucking attempt to do Chicago. He's insulting all Chicagoans by doing his New York accent. And that plays an important part in this episode we're doing, episode 6, Yankees versus Cubs. I was so bummed out. Like, there's only... Like I say, only 11 episodes. I wanted to do one. Oh, by the way, there's a baby Branscombe on the show, which makes it tolerable.
Yeah, this was definitely a thing where you were like, I don't know if I want to... Oh, my God, Branscombe's in it. We have to do this.
Yeah. We get a double whammy. We get a little Mako, too. The little wizard from Conan. He's the captain. He's great, too. So that kind of tempers down the Gint disgust.
Gint cussed?
A little bit. What was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to do the one that... Did you watch it all the way through? Because they had a preview for the next episode on the episode we watched.
I saw there was some voodoo shit happening?
Yes, I wanted to see it. So first of all, it looked like it had a lot of Branscombe because it was about Hawaiian kind of mysticism. So, Branscombe playing a Hawaiian. He's a citizen of the world. I have no idea what Branscombe Richmond is. He probably would have been like guiding them through and like had a bigger part.
It would have been good. It would have been way better than what we got to see here.
Yeah.
But no, we got to start out, Murray. We got to start with these two. They're bros. They live in the same apartment. Somehow, while I was watching this, I got a clip of another episode, and they actually there's a third person in their little group, a woman named like Irene.
I saw her in the opening credits, but I didn't. Yeah, she wasn't in this episode we're doing.
So I ended up somehow on the wrong episode. And
it's a mess. It's like if you're looking for the episodes, no matter depending
luck.
on where you go, the numbers are off, the titles are off.
Yeah, good luck. And so Andy sucks up a bathing suit top in the vacuum because he's vacuuming the whole house. Andy comes down from the stairs Matt comes down from the stairs as Andy's handing the top off the vacuum to Irene, and he's like, I think you lost your top. And she's like, oh, yeah. And he goes, let me guess. Todd left that? No. Brett left that? No. Greg left that? No. I forgot where I put it. So they're insinuating that she sleeps with everybody.
Whore, yeah.
And then Andy comes on and says, how do I get some sleep around here? I barely got enough pickles to put on my hot dogs today.
Andy said that?
What's that?
Andy said that?
Mac said that.
Oh.
Mac descended the stairs and said, I barely have enough dill pickles for my fucking Chicago dogs because I'm from Chicago. So they all live in the same house is all I was trying to get at. Because, look, we usually do background on the whole show. We have no background.
Well, you do your own research for that.
You do your own research. But in the 5 seconds I saw of another episode, I know that Andy and Mac live in the same house.
Hawaii is very expensive, so it makes sense.
Is it really?
Yeah. They got to import everything. They're on a fucking island in the middle of the Pacific.
But they have pineapples.
Well, those are cheap. Coconuts and pineapples are cheap.
That's all you need.
Well, if you're drinking sangria, you do need a pineapple.
That's a good point.
Or if you want a scar on your face.
Yeah, of course. I did notice that Mac had 2 scars under his face, probably eating all that pineapple.
Ginty face.
Ginty face.
So we get this intro. Let's get into this fucking episode.
Yeah, come on. Let's get through this.
Intro explains everything. We see them in Chicago. It's snow. We go, it's Chicago. It's always snowing in Chicago.
Always.
And so we're like, all right, I know what this show is about. And this is the only episode of the show we're ever going to watch. So I'm going to, if this does huge numbers, we'll do it.
We might get bored one day and say, we got to watch more Branscombe.
I'll watch Renegade if I want to see more Branscombe.
Good point.
But, so I think this is like a premise in every episode. I'm just extrapolating here. I don't know. I don't care enough to research it. Where Ginty does voiceover narration, which I believe it's supposed to be him writing letters to his dad who's still in Chicago.
Dear Dad, let me tell you, there's no dill pickles for my hot dogs around here. What is he? I don't even know what he's telling his dad about.
He actually puts sweet pickles on his hot dogs.
Sweet pickles?
Yeah, that's how sick he is.
He probably eats hot Italian beef, too.
He loves that Italian beef. So he's just like, they're talking about the cold streets of Chicago, and I can't believe I'm not in Chicago anymore.
The Cubbies.
Mentions every fucking sport team. The Bears.
I do hate that a lot of baseball stats come up, and everybody knows I love baseball. So I was like,
you love statistics.
Are these stats even real?
Come on. You think Ginty would say, I'm not saying this isn't true.
So just like Robert Ginty, the success was a flash in the pan. The Cubs had one good year surrounded by misery for like 8 years on either side. And this just happened
at this time, the Bears were kicking ass. They went to the Super Bowl.
That makes sense, but we learned he's like, yeah, the Bears are pretty cool, but he's a Cubs fan. That's him.
Which makes no sense because he claims he's from the South Side.
Murray, thank you. Because you came in, you're like, Griff, I've been thinking about this. I have not slept since I watched this. Are the Cubs on the South Side? No. American League, Chicago White Sox are on the South Side. The Cubs...
Leave it to Ginty to bandwagon jump a shitty team.
The team that's not even in his precinct.
Is he playing the lovable loser here?
Oh, 100%. He's doing the Mike Valenti thing. Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan. Doesn't matter if I live in New York. Also,
Anybody who would choose to be a Celtics fan is a psychopath.
Right. Mike Valenti is a psychopath. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a New York Giants fan. I'm a Celtics fan. And also, I just have an affinity for the Argonauts in Canadian Football League.
They're great.
Like, it makes no sense.
I like the Rough Riders.
I like the Rough Riders, too, actually.
So he's writing this letter to his dad just about how I don't remember. He misses Chicago. He doesn't miss Chicago. Who fucking cares?
I miss the people, but you know what? I miss the dogs, but I don't miss the weather because here in Hawaii, it is sweat and perfume.
Sweating perfume?
Look, I'm not a poet like Robert Ginty's a poet. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
So they arrive at work at the old police precinct in their convertible because they're in Hawaii now. You don't fucking drive a top on your car.
Mac, Robert Ginty, maybe you asked me this question on Wednesday's episode. How did you feel about Ginty's hair?
It's horrible no matter what he does.
It's because it's like a flowing mullet thing.
But every time I've seen him, we've done on how much he has a different hairstyle, and they're all awful.
Okay. Didn't like it.
He had a hat on the fucking Murder She Wrote, but it was a wig on a wig.
It was a wig on a wig. We went over that in great details, which everyone needs to go back and listen to.
So, of course, Ginty would be the type of guy who has to back into a fucking parking space. I hate you fucking people who do that.
We did this 2 weeks ago, everybody. We talked extensily about Murray's problem with people backing into parking spots.
It takes twice as long to do it, and the whole point is you want to make it faster to get out.
What I don't get is where we live, it's nothing but fucking seas of parking lots. If you really want to back or pull in so you can just pull right out easily without backing out, the parking lot, you can park at the back of it. And you don't have to do this whole back out.
Heaven forbid I have to walk.
Right. Heaven forbid I have to walk. I haven't done exercise in 4 weeks. Do not ask me to walk the whole extent of this parking lot. We're the worst. So,
like I said, he's got to be one of those douches that has to back up. But as he's about to douche it, another convertible pulls in, steals his spot.
Oh,
Technically,
yeah.
didn't steal his spot. He just got the spot fast.
Right. I mean...
And they parked properly.
Right, exactly. They pulled in head first. They weren't worried about anything else. They didn't see. They didn't acknowledge. It doesn't matter. You don't know what this fucking psychopath's doing. You don't know these fucking psychopaths are trying to back up into the spot. Your blinkers don't even work in this situation because of how your steering wheel's cranked. So the argument we're about to hear from Ginty does not hold water. I had my blinker on.
Hey, yo! What are you doing? That was my spot!
The blinker wouldn't even be on in that situation because of how your steering wheels turn. Your wheels are fucking completely out of whack. It won't work. You would have to turn your hazards on.
And these women who were in the car, they're like, so? I don't give a shit. And they just blow them off and just walk in.
Right. I mean...
And they're like, hey, I'll get your car towed. She's like, I don't give a fuck. It's a rental.
Yeah, are you guys the fucking meter maids? No, we're detectives! She's like, okay, great. So I'm going to leave you now. Bye.
And then, of course, being the child that Ginty Mac Riley is, they decide to kick their car into neutral and push it into a no parking space.
Yeah, it's the chief spot.
Right.
And
apparently the chief rides a bike to work.
Yeah,
he's at work.
The chief is at work, but he didn't drive today. So they parked the girl's car. They move it into the chief's spot, and
they giggle really, like schoolgirls.
It's really funny, but I don't get it.
All right, now they're in the chief's office, and we see Branscombe. Arm in a sling, never referenced at all.
I don't get it. Just great.
It was just, I think it was just like Branscombe. You know Branscombe's method. You know that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just think Harker, that's his character's name, would have a broken arm this day.
It's just to show that everybody in this office is into some shit. I mean, just like Mike explained on Predator 2, one of our greatest episodes ever, apparently. Yeah. This is an open door policy. You know, we work together. I still don't understand how that works. Mike did not explain it well enough, but Branscombe reiterates it's an open door policy. So that somehow means that his arm got fucked up and he's got to keep it in a sling. But we got our chief, a little Asian man eating food with Chinese sticks.
Called chopsticks.
I'm so sorry. What did I just say?
Chinese sticks.
Oh my god.
And yeah, well, because he is Asian, it's Mako, and like I said, Branscombe's behind him in his sling, and like, hey, I'm sorry, we were late. Of course, it's bursting in, being obnoxious, because they're from Chicago, so they can do that kind of shit.
Right. They got the hot dogs just falling out of buns as they walk in. They're slopping all over the place. Hey, forget about it. And Chief's like, I got a big problem for you. And he's like, no mustard? No, Robert Ginty. It's not about mustard. Not everything's about mustard. It's about Robert Willett.
And this is where Branscombe Harker takes over, and he's like, apparently there's a big drug war happening in Hawaii at this time between Robert Willett and the Blue Van Gang. I don't remember who the guy from the Blue Van Gang was.
Yeah, nope, don't remember.
And they're like, you're going to be working with 2 detectives from New York because they're involved with this case as well. And like, yo, we work alone. No, I don't think so.
Not to mention New York. Those people are fucking criminals. They eat their hot dogs with relish, not a full dill spear.
While he has an obnoxious New York accent, he's trashing New York.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this.
As he's trashing New York, the doors open, and those 2 lovely young ladies walk in, Kate and Alexis.
This is probably a good time to mention, if you want to learn more about Robert Ginty, you need to listen to this Wednesday's episode, because our Gintologist explains everything about Ginty.
Yes, all will be explained.
So Alexis and Kate walk in.
Yeah, because they're tailing a guy named Benson who came to Hawaii to do a big drug deal. Because I guess everybody goes through Robert Willett to get their heroin.
So that was the Blue Van Group guy, was Benson.
No, he's totally separate. He's just a guy from New York that wants to get drugs. The Blue Van Group, you don't know anything about. All you know is they hate Willett.
Oh,
that's
wow.
all you know.
Okay, there's 3 opposing factors here. Interesting.
Well, Benson's not opposing. He just wants to get drugs from Willett.
Oh, okay.
So they're cool.
Interesting.
And they're like, whoa, hey, forget about it. What's going on with these ladies? Chicago #1. She's like, I think it's called the Second City for a reason.
Yeah, and he says, of course, Ginty argues back with, pizza should not be the size of a slice of paper. It should be thick like a brick.
casserole
or give me death. And she's like, that shit's fucking filth, and spits in his face and is like, you want us to work with these fucking Goombas?
And you can tell this is love at first sight. These people hate each other immediately. They're going to be boning by the end of the episode.
This is grade school affection. I know it. I've seen it.
He literally did pull on her pigtails.
Yes, he pulled on her pigtails. And then, later on when they were on the police headquarters jungle gym, she was hanging upside down and he fucking,
I don't know where you're going.
Spit in her pudding.
Spit in her pudding. I think that's a sex act.
That sounds like a sex thing.
I've spat in many a girl's pudding. When I'm not eating their ass with a knife and fork.
Jesus Christ.
And so they're like, we see Branscombe like tittering in the background, and Mako's like, we learned that Benson's going to make his drug pickup at a particular place that our boys and girls have to go undercover.
I love this because Branscombe is like laughing to himself. He's like, you guys have a really secret mission to go on.
The Lagoon of Love, like a newlywed hangout, which I'm sure they're all over Hawaii because that's a destination spot for honeymoon.
Exactly. So, of course, this is going to be an abomination of a fucking undercover mission.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we see that they're like mirror images of each other. Like Andy's like the naive, sweet boy, and so is Kate. Like then Alexis is obnoxious and loud, just like Mac.
Right.
They're the bizarro or flip version of each other.
I wasn't listened to as a child, so I need to yell louder and louder and louder to get people to understand and hear me. And, yeah, that's exactly what Ginty is in this show.
So they're going to pose as newlyweds. And, of course, we got to pair Alexis. It makes sense to pair Mac with Kate because there's no heat between them. But, no, we got to have those two arguing at all times.
Oh, right. It didn't make sense, but, hey. That's what they fucking did. And so, as they're arriving, because we get our nice commercial break, and Murray, you were very obsessed with the music on these commercials.
Super obnoxious guitar interludes all throughout this episode. You'll be hearing them all throughout this episode. And they come in with the car. It says "Just Married." They got it's like 1922. They got cans in the back, like dragon.
Soap written all over it, newlyweds and everything.
They meet up with the woman who's like the director of the.
It's the couple
resort.
Yeah, it's like an old couple.
They're given gigantic leis that go around both their necks.
Right, and they're like doing like namaste shit. Like they got into some of that Indian Hinduism or whatever it is. I'm sorry. And they're just like, oh yeah, we know everything about you guys because we don't allow anybody to reserve a room here unless they give us full details about their personality and their facial features. Elephant Man, beautiful blonde. Okay, brunette, guy who looks like he's a guy.
Wallpaper guy.
And so Ginty and Andy look at each other and they're like, oh, that fucking chief, he gave our details away. Elephant Man, I'm more like a pig man. I don't know. The fuck Ginty would even think of himself.
And so they go to their rooms. Every room had sliding doors. You notice that? And they had curtains.
We've seen so many shows where they use the sliding door. Even in this reminded me a lot of our Miami. What's that show called?
Miami
Vice. In our Miami Vice Ted Nugent episode, they
could have
only
said Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, yeah, right. In the Miami Vice episode, they also only use the sliding door to welcome people.
When you're in a hot environment, turning a knob is too exhausting. You need a sliding door.
You got to use the sliding door.
So they go to their rooms, and even at first, like Mac's like, "Oh right, me and Andy, we're going to share one room, and you do the other." Mac, you're supposed to be newlyweds. We're undercover. Yes. I don't want to be sharing a room with you either. You stink. You're a pig man. And so they go off into each other's rooms.
Of course, we follow Ginty and Alexis first, and he's got a habit of calling her Alex. Alex, I'm just trying to explain to you. You got a woman's brain. You just don't understand clues the way I understand clues.
It be known, my name's Alexis, not Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Al.
Yeah, that was a moment later when they really get to a choking point. But she starts explaining, look, motherfucker, I have been working the line? I don't know, the thin blue line for 9 years. It took me 15 years to get my gold badge.
No. It took her 8 years.
Okay, whatever.
Because then Matt goes, oh, yeah, well, I'm stupider than you. It took me 14 years to get my badge.
Oh, I see. You put it in the notes.
See?
You got the details.
Yeah. And so he's like, I'm dumber than you. How you like that? And she's like, well, you kind of are dumber than me.
Well, he tries to say that that the office was just giving her a raise because she's a woman and they need to put her pretty little face.
And she's also saying he didn't work hard at all because he's a white man.
Yeah.
And he's like, I put my time in. I put almost double the time because I'm stupider than you.
Right, exactly. So it's like, who's wrong here? And this is where you get your big frustration point where she's walking towards the bathroom and he's like, all right, Alex, let's agree to disagree. And she's like, Alexis, please, that's not my nickname. And he's like, okay, Al.
Meanwhile, Andy and Kate are hitting it off. They just meeting of the minds. They both have asshole partners, so they can relate to that.
Right, and they're just like, man, this mission is heaven. Like, we're used to such, like, the city life, and there's noise and everything. All you have here is the ocean. And do you see this wine they just gave us for free? They call this the Angel's Kiss. And also, we got the clean sheets. We got the bump up to the clean sheets.
Wow.
That's
especially important in like a honeymoon suite. There's a lot of jizz flying in a honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, there's this bucket of oysters.
That's the last time you'll probably jizz when you get married. So
right.
Honeymoon.
Yeah. There's this bucket of oysters here, so, you know.
They're just sitting out in the heat. Flies or shit around it.
Everything about this says that our night's going to go really well. And Andy's like, yep, I believe it will.
Good.
Uh-huh.
So now they meet up at the pool because this is where they've been tailing Benson, who's also on his honeymoon apparently. She's with a lady.
That's right.
And we see the great Roger, the Hawaiian Liberace, is playing all the hits. He's got the Celine Dion, all the shit you want when you
Piano Man. He's playing the white classics, you know?
He is. They're yacht rocking like a motherfucker.
Oh, my God.
And then he stops and goes, Maloha. Maloha. Great voice, great timbre. Gracias. Merci. Because his name's Roger, because he's like, he has synonyms. He's like a thesaurus.
Yes.
So he says them all. He's like, that means thank you in Hawaiian.
Let me explain a little bit more about Hawaii to y'all. But before I do that,
I'll be taking requests. Put them on a napkin, and y'all put you in there's like a fishbowl.
you got to write your name on it.
Put your name in there, and I'll pick out one name, and you will get the grand tour of the island. So we see our man Ben. They're watching. Yes, Benson. There he is.
Yeah.
And Ben, like I said, all the drug dealers are like middle-aged balding guys.
Exactly. They're ugly. They're fucking gross. And they have these beautiful, like, girls that are 15 years younger than them. So they're just like, yeah, these are real creeps.
He drops off his napkin, and we see the nice handoff where Roger puts the napkin in his pocket and throws another napkin in there.
And everybody's trying to, okay, 2 people out of the 4 people group, our crew here, are trying to out-detective each other. Oh, my God, did you see that right there? I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you. See, what happened here is he took the napkin, and he didn't drop it into the bin with everybody else. He pocketed it. And it's like, it was clear as day. Everybody saw it. Fucking, all the newlyweds even saw it. It was so obvious. But they realized there's some kind of rig happening here. But we get a moment.
See, this is where, because they knew Roger was in it. He's the middleman for Willett. So they didn't know how they did it. Now we see.
But we do get it. I guess it was this scene. I mean, this is how it's coming up in the notes, where they start arguing about what they like and don't like. Alexis,
well, I think Alexis comes out. It's like, God, I can't wait for this case to be over with. I fucking hate the beach. And then, what do you mean you hate the beach? The beach is fucking cool. And then Andy's like, you always go out, you hate the fucking beach. No, I don't.
Friend, I do believe you hate the beach. You say how you hate the sand beneath your toes. You hate the towels. You hate the butts.
I love it. Having sex on the beach, grit on your dick. It's fucking amazing. And so we're seeing maybe these two have a lot. Maybe that's why they don't like each other. There's so much in common. But they refuse to see it.
Right, and so as they're reaching their fever point, of course, he's got to turn his frustration towards Alex and tells her, "Go do a hula somewhere,
Alex." And she's like, "My name's Alexis." So Alex is like, "I got an idea." She's thinking on her feet. She's like, "I'm gonna put." I remember one of Willett's contacts that we arrested. I'm gonna put his name in there, and it literally says, like, he puts the name like Mac Riley. "We would like to buy drugs, please."
Yeah.
And then, like, hands it to Roger.
And the camera zooms in on it. And I was like, oh, boy, here we go.
So Roger, he's like, he's like, "Shit, I didn't know I was going to have 2 this week." So he covers for himself. He, like, grabs into the thing to pick the winner. He's like, "Oh, how foolish of me. I picked up 2 napkins." And you got to have 2 napkins, you have 2 winners.
This is amazing, though, because they don't just go, "We have 2 winners." They go, "All right, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to have a winner go on the tour tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. And then Sunday, we're going to have this second tour go out. The second couple, the napkin I also grabbed, at 3 o'clock on Sunday, Hawaiian Eastern Time." And it's like, wow, we didn't need as much explanation, but they fucking...
This was 80s TV. We needed it.
You know what channel this aired on?
I'm going to say NBC.
ABC.
ABC. A. B. C.
You'll learn more about that Wednesday.
You got to listen to now you really want to listen to Maniac Killer. So they're in their room. Mac is so pissed that he didn't think of the idea. So he's got his shit all on Alexis's idea. "That was really fucking dangerous what you were doing there. Well, you could have blew our cover. It's too dangerous." And she's like, "Bitch, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the bathroom."
And then we cut over to Andy, and he is playing ball for Mac.
Right.
Because Riley's like, or not Riley, Kate is like, "Man, Mac is really intense." And he's like, "Well, you got to think about it like Mac thinks about it, because Mac's got a galaxy fucking brain. I've seen that man put 4 hot dogs in his mouth at the same time, and only a genius can do that."
And they all had pickles on them.
They all had pickles on them. And Kate, of course, these two are the most, like, accommodating people. So she's like, "That is very impressive, Andy." And they talk it out a little bit.
While Andy's sitting there watching the Bears game.
Right.
And she's like, "It's like 11 at night. What the fuck?" Well, they watch it on tape delay.
They rebroadcast it because we're so far away. And she's like, "That's great, because I can't fall asleep without TV or a man pushing his hard
she's
dick
like,
on me.
We can share this bed. It's big enough for the 2 of us." He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"I'll sleep on the floor."
Yeah.
No. We can sleep on. Meanwhile, as you would, like, Ginty, you're on the floor. You're not getting anywhere near me on the bed. We go to Ginty's room, and we see immediately T-shirt tension. Because he's got the fucking Cubbies shirt on. She's got the fucking, "Your World Series champion, fucking Mr. October,
Yeah.
New York Yankees fucking shit on."
I mean, I did look it up, and the points that come up in this argument that happened here, Alexis is dead on. The Cubs had a flash in the pan, and they fucking failed in the NLCS.
They had polar opposite records. One was like 71 and 90.
Exactly.
Another one was 91 and 71.
Exactly. One team was 20 games under 500. The other team was constantly 20 games above 500. And you got Ginty being there, standing in and being like, "No, the Cubbies are pretty good.
This is their year.
They just need to hustle out some more ground balls, and they'll be right
like,
there."
"Bitch, your year was 1946, and that was just the pennant. You didn't even fucking win."
So then Ginty does the normal thing where you say, "Well, you don't even know baseball," and starts doing some.
He just screams the word analytics.
Analytics. Bill James, and she's just like, "Bill James, I fucked Bill James. I fucking jizzed sabermetrics all over my face. I know everything about it." "Oh yeah, you think so? Well, who is the first team to throw a perfect game? Wait, not a perfect game. A no-hitter after the first batter walked. Who was that pitcher? Baby Ruth." And he is beside himself. And he cowers up, curls into a ball, and is like, "Baseball's not real."
Right, and then when they turn the lights off, he says another question, and she knows it instantly.
Yeah.
And he's just emasculated.
morning. We got to follow Benson because he's going on his fucking tour.
Well, we know it's the next morning because we just heard that classic commercial interlude. Benson's heading out on his little trip with Roger, and they're following. And they're in downtown Hawaii, the mean streets. We see whores all over the fuck. Where is the anti-satanic sex fucking torturers when you need them?
You really need that, yeah.
Check in, maniac killer.
And we get
Wednesday.
We get a very nice like little argument here between New York and Chicago again. Oh God, this reminds me of Hell's Kitchen, and they're like, oh no, this reminds me of the South Side of Chicago, and they're bickering back and forth.
They're arguing who has the shittier side of town,
right? And like how
she's like, we got the worst criminals out, but it doesn't say much about your police force.
Yeah.
And like, how is it she's from New York yet he has the New York accent? What's going on here? And Andy and Kate are just rolling their eyes in the back. They're like, these two, why don't these get over and fuck?
So good thing that the Jeep finally stops at a nice downtown tattoo parlor. And this is an 87 tattoo parlor.
This is 84 tattoo.
84, thank you. Excuse me.
And when the shit was still underground, and I've had this is a very accurate experience. I had it was like 90, I think. Well, experience I had.
Let's talk about how they decide who's going to go into the tattoo parlor.
The guys have to go in because women don't get tattoos. Well,
they don't.
Like if they do, they're whores.
Right.
So he's like, you guys don't look whorish enough.
Right.
So they're like, we got to go in. Well, first of all, they're like, they're going to wait, and like. You can see, like...
Ginty calls it into the station, and they're like, we'll have people there in 7 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to wait for backup. And she's like, we can't wait. She's like so nervous. And he's like... And then all of a sudden, he like has to piggyback on her idea. Like, oh, I'm going to go in then.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we'll go in. He's like, you're ladies. Ladies don't get ink.
That's right.
So they go inside, and this guy... While that's going on, the girls are talking... And they're like, should we tell them about your sister Tammy? No, they cannot know. We're going to get Willis. And then we see Willett. And then we see a little scene where we see Willett in a limo with her sister Tammy. And Tammy's just like his side piece kind of thing.
Another balding dude.
Another balding guy.
With... he's like in his late 40s, and he's got this 20-year-old like model with him.
Right, because she likes to live the high life.
It's a hard ticket to Hawaii. You got to fuck the bald, ugly dudes.
Right. Oh, that would be so great if Shades had been one of the goons.
I wish.
So inside, we got the tattoo artist. The costumers went overboard with this guy's look. Okay.
As Abra said about Jessica Fletcher's house, we need to detail this house. Yes. We need to detail this fucking tattoo artist. Yes. They went overboard a little bit.
Leather vest with no shirt on underneath because you got to show the ink. Studded choker. Eye patch.
Yeah, I like the eye patch.
Headband.
Yep.
And they're looking at the Flash, shit off the wall. And this would be a classic. People were just. It was. I remember, tattoos were underground at this time. You had to. They were like, and it was like wrestling in the old days. You had to show that you deserved to have a fucking tattoo.
Right.
You don't just come in and get one.
Right.
So and it's very like like a brotherhood almost. So they're like looking up at Ginty up and down, and they're like, Andy's there. I'm just here to watch.
Yeah.
No, you're both getting tattoos.
You like that part. That seemed to really hit a chord with you.
Yeah, and then like, well, how much does it cost? We'll talk about cost after the tattoo is done.
What are you gonna get? Maybe like mom?
No, you're getting a bird of paradise covering your chest.
And he literally did have like the fucking full piece. He's gonna put over his chest. He's like, I haven't worked with color a whole lot, so I don't know how this is gonna turn out. But you're gonna pay for it.
Just as that's going on, we see the inside of that blue van we've been hearing about, the blue van crew.
Yeah.
And they're just loading up their guns with fucking shotgun shells and shit. And then all fucking... This is just as Ginty's back. He's like, well, maybe I should just have the like stencil on for a few days. See how I like it.
I gotta work this... Come on, he's our comic relief. So, of course, he's like, I really like the stencil on me. I'm going to take that around for a week and really decide if that's where I want it.
And he's like, no, you're getting a tattoo. Just as he says that, bullets just riddle the tattoo parlor. Poor tattoo artist splattered. Roger, open the door. Roger falls in. He's split. The beautiful voice of Roger.
Yeah, how could we lose him?
They go into another room. They see Benson.
And his lady.
These blue clues guys don't fuck around.
Right. So the guys, of course, head out the back door. They see everybody load up into the blue van. They're the blue crew van, after all.
Well, they're just like doing a drive-by. They're taking off. And Alex and... So sexist I'm calling her Alex. It's Alexis. And Kate decide to steal Mac's car because they see a limo. It's like, that's got to be Willett. We know he drives only in a limo. He's like Ric Flair. Limo driving, jet flying, wheeling dealing, son of a gun.
That's right.
So they chase after the limo. Then as they're going, someone's pulling out from a parking space. They slam into that person. The limo gets away.
It's very kind of you to say it was a car pulling out. They did drive into a tree. The tree was moving, of course, but they did drive into a tree. As
you would expect, Mac's pissed off. That's his car. So he's like, what the fuck? Back at the HQ, the police precinct. Mac's immediately like, why would a limo be in... Mac's like, limos are everywhere. In that part of town, the tattoo district.
Yeah, the tattoo district. Rich people don't get tattoos.
Right, only trash get tattoos.
Exactly.
And they're to start arguing again. Well, Alex, I'm not Alex.
Chief, he's got there with his chopsticks, as Maria's told me. It's not Chinese sticks, apparently. He's eating another meal. He's always eating in this show.
Yeah.
Always a beautiful,
He's got the little Tupperwares. He's on this, macro fucking biotic
That's
diet.
got to be it. He's on his macronutrient diet.
Yeah.
And so he's stuffing his face full, and he's like, look, do you guys have anything on Willow right now? Did you figure out anything when you were at the hotel, when you were following Benson? Anything. I believe it's Alexis who pipes in. Is like, well, there is the napkin. And Chief's like, great, follow that. And Mac's like, no, we can't follow that in. Then he has to realize, shit, that is it. That's the only tie they have. That's the only connection they have.
And at that time, he realizes, I got to write another letter to my dad. So he's like, Dad, why do I hate broads so much? Is it because they don't want to fuck me? Or is it because they're smarter than me? I don't know, because she's a great cop, but she's also a cunt.
Not to mention,
I don't get it.
She also kind of looks like your daughter, my sister, and I'm kind of into that. And I'm kind of confused about it. But also, my dick's never been so hard in all my life.
That night at the pool, Kate and Andy, they're about to hit the hay. They're having drinks at the pool. Roger's already been replaced.
Yep.
By
no big deal.
By Goulet.
Yeah.
And Kate and Andy are like, well, we got... they've been fucking nonstop since they've been here. But they're keeping it on the down low.
Oh, right. They don't need
fucking Mac wouldn't stop talking about, hey, you couldn't believe the way I fucked her last night. It was amazing.
Right.
He was 69 and
Andy is very cool about it, especially because of how sick Mac is. He's like, I'm not going to tell him about the fact that I'm having relations with another woman.
Having coitus with you.
Yeah, exactly. Because Mac would freak out and be like,
tell me the details.
I could do it better than you. You probably don't even know about the one knee technique. And he would never shut up. He would always be critiquing because that's Mac.
So they head back to the room to fuck some more. And then we get a moment where Alexis and Lisa.
We follow them back to the room and we see that they're not fucking. They're arguing about Alexis and Mac.
Yeah, because he's like, Mac is totally right. And she's like, what do you fucking mean he's totally right?
Mac told me that women are dumb and men are smarter.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
You should know this.
And she's like, and then he can sense. He's like, what's going on with you two? It's like, nothing. Nothing is going on with us. And then she just runs in the bathroom.
She runs in the bathroom, turns around, and says, "If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the bathroom." See, there's a callback to Alexis because they're so close. And now we're gonna go to another couple who's getting closer. That's a segue, Murray.
Get a little closer. Goulet singing romantically. There, she's like, look, I guess it was kind of stupid of me to steal your car. Oh, it's all right. It's my favorite car. I've never had a fucking convertible in my life, but it's all right. It's a dent. No big deal. And they're starting to finally vibe and get together. And then we realize that.
Well, Ginty just comes out with the question out of the blue. Like, they've been quiet, just peacefully enjoying each other's company for a minute. They're having some drinks. getting loose. And he goes, "Hey, have you ever been married?"
Because married broads are hot. The divorcees are hot to trot. I heard.
That's what I heard. Have you had a kid? Has your fucking vagina been ruined
you had
by
a
birth?
kid, no interest. I'm just letting you know off the bat. I don't want to raise no more buddies. I don't even raise my own kids. I'm not raising your kids. And that totally throws cold water on her lady boner. So she's just like, ugh.
They get up. They start having an incredible screaming match. Top of their lungs. Freaking the fuck
Did
out.
you notice it kind of looked like Ginty was wearing like eye makeup, like mascara in the scene?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He's trying to make it. I don't know what he's going for.
I
but
think he was because he had those squinty pig eyes. I think he was trying to make his eyes pop, look bigger.
Also, by makeup, you mean he just had tape holding his eyelids open. So they're having this intense screaming match, and finally, like even
what that means.
Piano Man like comes to a halt, and everybody starts turning to look at them, and suddenly Ginty just pulls her in close and fucking. There's a fat one right in her mouth.
Lays a smackdown on her.
He fucking rubs his jowels all over her face.
And then Goulet starts playing, "You had to be a big shot, did ya?"
Got to open up the
And then
door.
Ginty goes, "Excuse me, I'm going to go fuck my lady." And he puts his arm around her and they go off to the room.
I hate to say this, because this is one of those moments where the internet loves to troll on people who are like, yeah, and then everybody stood up and clapped. Literally, everybody at this place stood up and clapped after he said, "I'm going to go fuck this broad." Like, that's how depraved. This is why you don't go on newlywed vacation, all paid for resort. Because you get the fucking sickest people in the world.
It's the lagoon of lust. It's not the lagoon of love.
Ugh.
There's a lot of wet, sloppy kissing going on.
Oh my
and
God.
then next day, come on, it's 1984 TV. We're not going to show people boning,
That's
but
right.
we let you know they've been boning because she wakes up wearing a Chicago Cubs shirt. You know what that means.
Yeah.
And he's smitten too. He ordered the fucking breakfast in bed. Tells the guy, "I'll pay you later." He basically did. That guy's like, "Well, you gonna pay me? I'll get you later. Don't worry about it."
He did wink at him, and it was very funny to watch Robert Ginty wink because it was just like when the Roadrunner would run sometimes and the road would fold up underneath him. That's what it looked like. There were so many folds of human flap. I didn't know that was possible.
So he goes up, he wakes her up. Yeah, the fucking script had like gives her a little peck on the lips.
Yeah.
No, he takes full advantage of this scene. He's like, it's not a peach, it's a woman. All right. He's just slobbering on this poor woman. She wants to fucking have her. She knows the deal. She knows the casting couches. She just wants to keep her job, so she goes with it. But he takes advantage.
It is disgusting. This is one of the most disturbing things. This belonged in Maniac Killer because it is offensive to the
Just as he's about to go 3 fingers deep, and he shows up.
Yeah. Sliding door. Of course, the sheets are or the curtains are pulled open, so Andy is fucking pressing his nose cartilage to the window and just knocking, watching them make out.
And he's just like, "What's going on with you two? I'll explain outside. Let's go outside." Takes him outside.
It just so happens Kate walks in as they're walking out, so we'll follow our boys down to the beach, I believe.
They're talking. He's like, "I telling you, I was talking to Kate. This is Andy. I was talking to Kate last night, and she just seemed worried or something." And then Ginty's like, "Alex was kind of scared last night too. I thought it was my dick that was frightening her. It's so big."
Or maybe...
But
you know what? That is what he would.
But maybe there's something up with her too. Maybe we should go back and talk to them.
Unless you want to go be down below the docks and I'll tell you about how I fucked her. Maybe show you a little bit.
Don't worry, Brody. I got some Polaroids.
And so we cut over to the girls as Andy's trying to figure out oh shit, do I really want to hear about this? And the girls, they're talking about it, and Alexis is trying to say I don't know what the fuck happened, but I kind of like him. I kind of really like him.
That was the greatest acting in this
This
whole
woman
show.
should have been in everything because she is amazing.
You can make it sound like you like Ginty.
Yeah.
You're a greatest actor.
100%.
Well, it says that the phone rings. It's their boy Willits. He's still got that napkin, and he just lost a fucking deal with Benson, so he's got to make his money up.
Yeah, he's got a lot more shit he needs to offload.
Good shit.
Good shit.
And so she's like, hey, is Mr. Mac Riley there? No, well, you can talk to me though. I'm his wife.
I'm his wife.
And he's like, I don't really do that.
Prove it. Yeah, only somebody married to that fucking mess of a human being could have jowly noises like that.
And we've said it once, we've said it a million times. The deal's going down at Pier 19. Meet me at the docks, 3:00.
So she scratches down a note on a notepad and everything and heads out. And that's where we go back.
They steal the boy's car, too. They steal Mac's car.
Okay, thank you. They steal the boy's car. That's where we head back over to Mac and Andy, and they're like, shit, there's something up. We got to go talk to these girls. We got to confront them about it right now. I have no time to tell you about how I fucked the shit out of Alexis. She had orgasms that she has never had before. That's what
she was crying, bro. Crying. Begging for the fucking hot dog with pickles.
Oh, my God.
She wanted, as Griff would say, the Italian beef.
Hot.
So apparently everybody in Chicago eats hot Italian beef.
We're going to look it up.
Nobody brought that. I was in Chicago a few years ago. Nobody brought that up. Nobody mentioned, hey, do you want some hot Italian beef?
Hey, you're in the wrong part of town.
I was not on the south side.
You got to look for a grimy sign. Get that Italian beef. It's very nice. Do you want the peppers or no peppers?
I only have peppers at Quiznos. So these guys, they do the old move where you rub the fucking pencil against the pad so you can get the imprint.
Yeah.
Pier 19. They head out. They commandeer some guy's Trans Am.
The guy's like, of course I'm helping out the boys in blue. He gives them a big old salute. He's like, please, guys, just bring it back in one piece. And Ginty, before they're about to, peel out, he goes, yeah.
I'll tell you about a piece I had last night. Later. Peels out. Fucking burns rubber. So, not only are they in pursuit, the blue van crew is in pursuit. They found out about this fucking thing going down.
I don't know. But we're going to go over to the pier because this is only a 45-minute TV show. And the girls, they show up, and they somehow manage to get a hold of Willett.
Well, the deal's about to go down. And then I guess Tammy comes down like, Willett, she doesn't even know his first name. Willett, what's going on? It's like, Tammy. And there's like some fucking kerfuffle.
Well, I know she gets a gun to Willett's head, and she has him. And then Tammy comes out. Oh, hey, sister, you have your gun to my boyfriend's head. I don't give a shit. She's coked out of her mind.
Right.
She's so drugged up. And that's when Blue Van shows up.
Right.
And starts firing on them. So Willett manages to make his escape, grabs Tammy, and fucks off to somewhere.
That's my favorite percussionist group, the Blue Van group.
Yeah, I know.
And then all hell breaks loose. The Trans Am shows up. They're all shooting. Alexis, gets shot in the arm. Don't worry, it went all the way through, so she'll be fine. And they're like, of course, she's incapacitated. She's got to rely on Mac. She's like, Mac, get my sister. She's in that fucking limo that just took off.
Right.
We do a nice low-speed pursuit in the back alleys of the pier. There's a pile of fucking cardboard boxes that somebody runs into.
I don't even know. I was, of course, writing notes, and I look up, and suddenly the chase is over. They have Willett, and they're just like, freeze frame.
Yeah, it's 80s TV. You got to throw in a car chase. And then we get that sweet little musical interlude. All right, this is the final act. This is where we wrap everything up. Alex confides in Mac, I'm madly in love with you. Yeah, okay. Even I didn't believe that one. And she's a great actress, but I didn't believe that one. And she's like, you know what? New York is great in the Christmas time. You know what? Fuck that shit. You ever had an Irish Christmas? Irish mean we're all drunk. In Chicago?
Chi-town.
And she's like, no, I haven't, but I really would like a pickle on your hot dog. I'd like to pickle your hot dog.
He's going to be brining his dick for the next 6 months.
Kate, she's like, you know what, Andy? Why don't we fuck too?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
You know, I'm on the East Coast. If you ever need a bed to stay in, mine will be warm.
Do you ever need a vagina to stay in? Mine will be warm.
This is like a Celine Dion song.
They make more jokes about which city's better or not. And because the girls are like, well, I'll be back when my sister has to testify. Well, that could be up to a year.
That could be up to a year.
You know I'm going to find some new pussy by then.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
And he's like, well, I'll call you the first chance I get. And then she's like, I'll be waiting by my phone night and day.
Right. And this is 80s when you didn't have cell phones. You were literally at home. You had to stare at your phone.
Yeah.
And then we just turn, and then we know Andy's like, goes to him, is like, we see that he never told her that there's some hurt going on with Mac that we don't know because we're never going to watch another episode of this show to learn it.
No, probably not.
But he never said, I love you back.
He's a tough guy. This masculinity at its most toxicity.
Yeah, when I think of tough, I think Ginty.
I think of Robert Ginty.
So there's your bloomin' onion. Enjoy the sirloin next week. That is, not next week, this coming Wednesday. Maniac Killer. Griff, why don't you finish us out here?
Oh, yes, of course. And for all you, we are listening.